Hello everyone, Scott here again for Jobber Radio Prediction League Frontline. Yeah, I said the whole title again. I don't know why I do that. I'm looking at a logo when I do it, but it's JRPL Frontline. I am here. I am your co-host Scott, along with my co-host, your world champion BeerMeJesus. Yes, he's still the champ, and he's gonna be till at least take over in SummerSlam at the end of August. It is August 4th, so he's got at least 25-ish more days, 20-ish, before a title defense or a cash-in. You never know. But enough of that. Beerme, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself, Scott?
Not bad, not bad. It's been busy. It not that I want to get into like actual job stuff, but what I do is a bit busy this time of year. So it's just constant. So it's busy and things are hectic, and I mean, yeah, we're in the COVID world and things are still there, and I mean, I see there's family traveling and stuff, and it's like, I should travel. I could go visit family, and then there's a report, literally, of a flight through Toronto to Thunder Bay. Hey, if you're on this flight, check for symptoms. There was someone who possibly tested positive on the flight, which would have been a flight I take. So,
Right.
it's a bit hectic, a bit stressful, but how about down in America? How are things down there? I had the silliest look on my face when I said that. I couldn't. I'm not gonna lie. That's a loaded question. Yes.
In America, it's pretty hectic down here. Got lots of different things going on, but around where I'm at, it's not too bad. It's actually not hot today. It's actually pretty beautiful. But
yeah, I will mention that we've had some days where it's been just like. For people who don't know, if you remember last time my washing machine broke like moments before it was leaking. Everything was fine. It just overflowed. And then my dryer didn't work one day because I blew a fuse. And then everything is fine, but it took 4 days to figure it all out. But it was literally too hot to run the washing machine. That's how hot it was. And I was sweating, dripping sweat, reading the troubleshooting, going, why didn't it work? You'd think the dripping sweat would have been the clue. It's not that anymore. It's not cold, but I mean, it's like it's 20 degrees Celsius, which is normally like nice and warm. It's relaxingly cool compared to what it's been. It's been almost double that. It's too hot. Like we joke about global warming and stuff like that. I don't mean like the thing. No, it's real because it affects my area. Because in central Canada, even though I'm in Eastern Time Zone, I'm above Minnesota for people to get a frame of reference. This part, the middle of the country, is going to have hotter summers and colder winters, and it's happening. So it's like ridiculously hot for a week or two in the summer, and we're going to have something like minus 40 a couple times through the winter. It's just, that's how it is now in where we are. So,
oh man,
yeah, it's back to normal now. It's already August. That's ridiculous.
That's true.
That ain't right. What the hell's going on?
I don't know.
Well, it's August. However, we're going to look at the half year, which does not include July. That's right. We're looking at kind of a, for lack of a better term, it's not a jobbies mid-year. It is inspired by the Bumpies. Redhead, give full credit on this idea because it's good. And we did want to have a Q&A, but we've done a bunch of them kind of back to back, so we want to stretch that out a little bit and make you miss it, make you want it. But the idea of a half year. Not full on like, this is the winner, but it's good to look back on things because all too often with any kind of awards, people remember the stuff that happens toward the end. It's the same with mixed martial arts. You might have a strong round, but if that guy took you down at the end, they're going to remember that. That's why all the Oscar bait movies come out in December, stuff like that. We want to avoid that, so we want to look back on cool stuff because there's literally big events that happened on the very first show that's like still of the year level stuff that might be forgotten. So this is a good stopgap, right? Exactly. This is a good kind of stopgap if you want to refresh the first half of the year. Check this part out. So we've got some ideas for things to comment. Again, it's just going to be us kind of talking back and forth as we've been doing for the past, 5 minutes now, about stuff from the year. We're going to forget stuff. We're going to misremember stuff. Or at least I know I am. I usually do, but that's kind of the point, because after 3 years of the JRPL, coming up 4, there's actual history. There's actual stuff and storylines, much more so than there was before. And that's, again, not a knock on it. It's just as time goes and things happen, you add layer after layer. So more layers coming, and there's a lot more layers coming based on what we know about what's coming up later in the year. Well, but BeerMe doesn't know, but I know. As usual.
Always.
You don't have any.
Yep.
You don't have any more crazy secrets for me this time, do you? Like, I've got my
No,
title belt
no.
right here. No, okay, good.
Nope.
But it's that kind of stuff. There's always fun moments, and we want everything to be a kind of big fun moment. But sometimes it's just a match. Like, case in point, I've been in feuds for the majority of the past year, solid. And then another on top of that. It's like 2 years straight of feuds, and my feud with Bomber was 3 years straight. My SummerSlam match is literally a title defense with no backstory. So, like, it's different. It's completely different, but sometimes that ends up being something, and that's why GMSG and I are feuding. That's why we had awesome feud that hasn't ended ever. So, sometimes this leads to cool stuff. So who knows what CM Carlito and I end up with in the future. This could be the beginning of something insane. Literally, because he was in an asylum. But
That's true.
I digress.
Your match is going to be insane. But that's
yeah. But through the website, jobberradio.com, I neglected to mention it. It's jobberradio.com. It's JRPL Official on Twitter, the JRPL YouTube page as well. Jobber Radio. The podcast is there. And yes, there's going to be some information like state of the JRPL, Jobber Radio, all that stuff coming later this week from Bomber. He's got a video coming, so keep an eye out for that. We're not discussing that one. I don't know anything about that one, so that's coming. This is its own thing for what's happened. He's going to talk about what's coming as well. It's all good. But what we're going to focus on here is on the website. You can actually go over to jobberradio.com and you can look at the Prediction League up at the top, and then you can go into events. That's upcoming, but there is also events history. You can go in there, look at the history of it, and you can see, like I've got here, Hard to Kill, Worlds Collide, Royal Rumble, Portland, Super Showdown, etc., etc. All the events of the year. And then some. It goes back pages. And yeah, it goes back to Blackpool. That's on the next page. There's literally been 24 events. There's been like 25. And the one's on the next page. That's what this page is for. There's literally a page called JRPL Event History with every single event. It's got all the matches, all the scores. They're all there. So that's what we're going to use as we kind of scroll through here and look at what's what and try to figure this out and look at what happened. I don't know how to tackle it really, because we could go chronologically, but I kind of first want to just think on the stuff that we remember. Now, bear me, I don't know if you remember, but last week when we talked about it, the two of us had a hard time remembering anything.
Yeah.
I have not had much more success beyond that. The one thing that stands out, like I mentioned, I'll just throw it out there, is from TakeOver Blackpool. It was the very beginning of the year, and it was the UVC exploding. With the sudden turn by Bastion onto Jut, or by Jut Jut. I say Bastion because it's Seth. It's by Jut Jut onto Bastion and Bomber, and that has led to a storyline which is continuing literally at SummerSlam with a Falls Count Anywhere match in Bomber's house between Bomber and Jut Jut. That led with Jut Jut facing Bastion at WrestleMania. There's been King of the Ring implications back and forth. It's been a big deal. And that'll start at the very first show in the first main event. That one, I really worry that is going to be forgotten by the end of the year, just for the fact that it happened literally on day 12 of the year. It stands out to me still. Yeah, I was in the match, and I helped with it because Judge came to me and said, "Hey, I want to turn." Remember
the best thing was Bomber didn't even know about it.
No.
So and neither did Bastion. It was just great.
The only people that knew was me up until 1 week prior, where I said, "Hey, booking team, heads up."
Right.
There's enough time now that we can all work on it, and it won't really leak out. Not that I'm worried that it would, but they didn't need to know in December or November. Because we had the Survivor Series match and then a follow-up. It was literally at that point. Like, this was like, I think mid-December, I knew about this. So, I think that was a really big deal. That's easily the first one that comes to mind for me. What big moment of the year? It doesn't have to be your own, but what big moment really stands out for you from the first half of the year? Again, this is up to June, so we're not counting the horror show with Extreme Rules. That's July. So,
Well, I mean, you could really go with a couple. I mean, it's not really a big moment, as to say, like you said, UVC imploded. Well, after that, I mean, the solution was gone, UVC was gone, and Simple Creatures kind of just came in and started kind of just taking over. That's kind of a cool thing, like them, and then you got JJ Rocky, who just does what he does now and wins everything. But that Tino winning the Rumble twice is really damn impressive.
yeah, that's a big one. That I honestly didn't know if that would ever happen when you really look at how it works. Like, 'cause it's real. It's actual
especially in like the first like
points.
3 to 4 years. Like,
yeah, he won them back to back. Like, that's one of those weird records that it's not going to happen again. Like,
yeah, those are astronomical.
Because we didn't book that. It was a draw to get in the Rumble. It was a draw to see where you're seated in the Rumble. Then you're predicting on a 4 or 5 match card with ridiculous bonuses. And I don't mean that as a bad thing, but it's just the sheer volume of them with the nature of 2 Rumbles. It's so up in the air, but the points are worth so much. And he happened to get in the Rumble. He got luck of the draw to come late, and then he did better than anybody else with that on top, and won it twice.
Yeah, yeah.
He did that twice. Yeah.
Another one would be the Legends imploding and splitting off.
Yeah, that's something that's you followed the Legends. You've kind of followed the faction stuff a bit more than I have with like the Legends and with the creatures and all that.
Yeah. I'm a big faction type guy. I like to follow. I like to keep tabs on them all.
Yeah, I was a lone wolf up until literally like I formed. It was Team Scott, but we named it Infinity this year. I was never really a faction guy. It's more fun to be a lone wolf, but I realized I needed some backup. But
it is cool. Yeah, it is cool. Like, after being in a faction so long, I kind of like being on that.
Yeah. But the fact that you're the last survivor of the solution, and it's not like you're fighting to survive. You're the reigning world champion for the entirety of the period we're talking about. You won it back at TLC in December. But also, like you said, the creatures with Modstep, who was the guy who had gone after every title but never won any of it, comes in, wins the TTCC. No, sorry, almost wins. That's the thing.
Yeah,
wins the tag title.
That's another
doesn't quite
HMF.
win it. HMF win it again, but then drop it to the creatures, so they may as well won it. We said that back in Mania. If they win it, it actually doesn't invalidate the loss. It kind of reinforces just how good they are, because they can bounce back and beat that team. It's one thing to win the tournament, that's good, but to beat the people who won the tournament, that's pretty good too, especially when you're avenging a loss.
It's like they're like one of like the teams that like AHMF are like one of like the last like big teams that were, you know, like when the JRPL started out, it was like Solution, AHMF, Regulators, Enigmas. But like AHMF was like the last like big dog, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
tag team wise, they had accomplished more than any other tag team, pretty much. That was left, and the creatures beat them, and you know.
And we say it all the time. Like Green Machine, he's a former tag champ with Tigress, and I think he had another tag solo title, which I keep forgetting about. That I was corrected on that.
Did he have the UV title?
I think he did. Yeah. It wasn't the one I thought it was. It was another one. But he had either the Road or the UV. But it's nothing compared to Tigress or GMSG with what they've had.
Right.
And that's not a knock on him. They've just accomplished that much more. And I mean, that's a faction. That's a strong faction. Same with UBC when you really look at it. Like with every single title has been held by those guys except for the tag.
Right.
Which kind of baffled me that they never actually accomplished that one.
No, because the Solution beat him, and then AHMF beat him. So like it was that. So yeah, they just ran into the top two.
I always compare that to being someone. It's like being a light heavyweight during John Jones' era. You might be better than anybody ever, but he's better than you. It's so like you would have been world champion
Yeah.
if not for him,
Right.
but he's there. It's like going against when there's the Muhammad Ali era. It's like there were literally dozens of potential world champions, except there was also Muhammad Ali. Am I calling the Solution the greatest faction? Yeah, I am, because they were. They are just now maybe being passed by current factions who are on ridiculous runs. That's how good the Solution was. And the simple fact that the Solution tag team, yourself and the Warden, are still the best tag team, and Warden's not been here for a year. And the
That is pretty
Outsiders, I
insane.
joked about that all the time, but the Outsiders were number 2, and Lee was gone for a year. We're literally, I think, tied with TNC, and Lily's been gone for almost a year. Like, there's this dominant aspects that happen, and it doesn't always last. There's always someone else coming, and I mean the Creatures are definitely doing that.
Yeah.
It's almost fun because you look at like Age of Annihilation or the Legends and these other ones that tried for that, didn't quite nail it. The Creatures never really went for that. They just did it. Like
Yeah.
it kind of happened. And yeah, we'd be remiss not to mention JJ Rocky. Beerme and I are JJ's biggest fan because he literally started his career during this time frame, and
Yeah.
he got a world title shot. He got a Road Warrior title shot. Didn't do it. But he's got main high profile wins. He beat Bomber in a death match. It took me 3 years to beat Bomber in a death match. He beat him in 6 months.
I've noticed a little bit. I mean, not to go off track. Bomber's kind of slipping a little bit in the deathmatch hardcore category now. He's kind of falling off a little bit.
People who remember from last week, I got a fly buzzing around suddenly around my head. There's a fly went right by my nose. No, he has. That goes right back to what I was saying about stuff happens. Not everything stays that way forever, right? So you will get people on a downturn. I mean, we're still waiting for the dominant resurgence of Super Hippo. It was almost there. We almost had it. It's not quite.
It was.
It's not quite there. So
Also, when you were talking about Green Machine, I was looking at records. He's in top 10 for wins.
he
I
was
think he's like number 7 or 8.
he was the
Like,
first one to ever hit
he's
1,000
there.
points.
Yeah. Yep.
I think we've got about a dozen or 20 now that have. He was the first one to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Which crazy.
Now,
Another moment. Or Stella winning Money in the Bank.
yeah,
Gotta give the Mr. Money in the Bank his props.
it's not easy. I was on the biggest run I've ever had, and I failed so bad at Money in the Bank last year. So I know how hard that can be. That's a big win. That's a huge one for him.
Yeah.
It's if he plays his card right, it's a guaranteed world title shot, or not shot, win. So
Yeah.
it's interesting to see like how's he going to play it, because you would have thought he would have done something by now, but I like that he didn't, because now it's like, okay, when is he?
I think he's waiting for the King of the Ring to get it done. Or at least that's what I would do.
Probably, I can see it.
But yeah, I'm trying to think of other moments, and
Well, I'll jump over to what Red wrote, because I asked the booking team, and Red and CT threw some ideas in here about some stuff to talk about. Because I mean, if we weren't thinking of it, we'd be coming up with stuff. Because as we preview a card or recap a card, we're talking moments all the time. And now that we're actually thinking of it, we're having a hard time. It's just this is who Beer, and I are.
right.
As far as for things like the favorite match that wasn't yours, or like the best heel moment or the OMG moment, stuff like that. I think the best heel moment, unfortunately, is at Extreme Rules, because I love where Pain cut into Red's leg.
Yeah.
That's July though, so ignore that. But that's
Chut.
That's an event.
I mean,
I think it might be Jut.
I mean,
If not, I mean, I can go back and say that the car accident onto Red before that was that, and I mean, Broken Nerd had that accident too. There's stuff like that, that are definitely in there.
I'm trying to think of yeah, I don't know.
mean,
Maybe the whole like beating Luke down, like
Renaissance beating Luke down. Oh, I know what it is. I know immediately what it is. Oh, I gotta remember that because I was gonna mention two of my own, which are not it. But I believe when I beat up Lily, that was this year. That might have been that was last year. That was leading up to Survivor Series. But I beat up Matt Zion this year, and
he did
took him out. So there's that. My crowbar, which I should take that crowbar into the mirror maze, shouldn't I?
Probably.
That
you might need
be a good idea. Yeah. But the heel moment of the year is probably Jut's home invasion.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's probably it.
Probably.
Along with the beatdown when Bomber was going after him, but my dark horse version of all that, of the moment that made me go, yeah, is when Vitamin Yes threw, I believe, oh god, was it Urban Legend?
It was an Urban Legend.
Off the roof.
Yeah, but they caught him.
Yeah, they caught him, but we didn't know that. I was going to say Alpha Dog, but he got his ass beat in other stuff. That's what it was. That's why I was thinking him.
Yeah.
That's probably the moment. I mean, Vitamin has been on a losing streak, which I want him to redeem. But that might actually truly be it. He tried to kill that man and throw him off the roof.
Did try to throw him off the roof.
That might be the best one, I think.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I like that one. But the home invasion's probably actually really it, let's be honest.
Yeah, that was
that's
pretty heelish.
That's pretty heelish. Let's flip that. There's not really a face moment you can really say in that same way, but what was kind of a feel-good moment? It doesn't even need to be like a face moment, but like I said, I loved everything about Redhead winning the first title after 1,000 days. That was a big moment for me. That was like one of my favorite moments of all year, was Redhead winning the Top Block title, because it was the first title after so long. I really like that. I know it's not a face winning it, but you know what I mean.
That was cool. I mean, especially because she's been around for so long. So.
Yeah.
And to finally win it,
And my other one like that was probably, again, we're being repetitive a bit. Forgive me here, but the Creatures regaining the tag titles, them winning it back, was like, yeah, okay, they are a threat. This is legit. That was probably my other big win kind of moment.
I like Nerd winning the UV title and just doing the cinematic stuff.
Yeah.
Just showing up like the Terminator. I mean, he can't, he doesn't have it no more, but... I don't know.
For now.
But, yeah. It's like his match with Alpha Dog.
He'll be back.
Like when Alpha Dog tried to stab him and it just didn't work because he was a Terminator.
But no, it was a fake knife. That's some of the most fun I've had with stuff. Admittedly, like I didn't even think of those because I'm writing them. But one of the moments that had me laughing the most was when he roared like the T-Rex in Jurassic Park and the banner fell. Like that was in my head for almost a week prior. I'm like, how do I get there? So yeah, that kind of stuff is this ridiculous fun. And the run he had with that belt, winning it back in that way. That's probably like the best feel good moment, I would say.
I think like for me personally, like if I was to go through all of mine, it would probably be WrestleMania when I won the Battle Royal and then defended my belt in the main event and won.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. Not gonna lie, yeah.
But I mean, what's your favorite? Well, obviously, what's your favorite moment that you've had this year of your
For me?
Would it be winning the title? I mean, I don't know if we could really say that, but
that's Extreme Rules. That technically we shouldn't count.
Yeah.
That. I loved coming out number 30 in the Rumble. I hated what happened, but it worked out. It always does. We always make it work. That was just cool after being the first guy in and the first to eliminate people for like 3 of the Rumbles. To have that be the flip. Now I'm like, I'm at the end. I'm a heel. I'm a bad guy.
You finally beating Bomber was pretty good.
That was it.
Or just your run of beating people that, like, you would be like, oh, he's not gonna win, but then you overcome it and then you win and you beat him. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's kind of like your thing of this year.
It's.
I mean, hell, you beat Nerd.
I
mean,
like
we
it.
can't go into it, but you did it.
Yeah, because it did continue it.
Right.
That is a big one for me. Beating Bomber was definitely like. I should have been the face and he should have been the heel, but I love the fact that it flipped and we still did it. It was kind of awesome
Yeah.
that we're able to do that. But I beat him in a death match. That was honestly my favorite of everything was either beating Bastion on my birthday
Oh yeah, that did happen. Yep.
or the ridiculous skit we had at ROH that was canceled, where it was like the anniversary celebration in the ring with Red, and we were naked,
yeah.
and Bomber came out with a
Yeah.
barbed wire bat. That was just. I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
If I'm drunk, fuck it. Why not? Let's do something ridiculous, because that would be so against
Right.
character. But it's like, I'm not working tonight. Woo! It was that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
that's probably the most silliest fun of my own stuff. How about like the oh my god moment? Where that kind of fits in what we've talked about already a bit, I think. But just a moment that made you go, oh god damn. Probably for me, even though I wrote it, but it's the bounce off the cell, spear through the window from the soundstage in a cage toward the end. Of it.
Yeah.
That's probably my favorite moment. And then you like pile drove him through the floor. Like that kind of sequence was probably like I can see it, and it would be ridiculous. But yeah, that's probably mine.
That was pretty cool. Oh, man, I'm trying to think of a good one.
It's tough because when you're on the
It
spot,
is.
you're like, oh yeah, what else? What else was there? Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, you've loved the stuff with Nerd, like you said, and the creatures too. So
Yeah. And Legends.
and Legends,
Hell, I mean,
yeah.
you know, it's well, hell, I even like stuff with Carlito and Hippo. You know, I mean,
Yes.
just all that stuff, which is cool. Like when Carlito put him through the tables, and then like it went up in flames, but then Black and Red Sting came out. It was or Hippo. It was cool. It was cool. I like that a lot. Man, the whole Renaissance thing ended in Mania. Like,
Oh,
it was
yeah.
pretty. It was like all right. It kind of left an impression like, oh, we're gonna run the show now. You know, like
We never,
you had.
we never really talked about that, but the idea there with them constantly adding someone was almost like the fact that it was Tino at the end. It was like they're not going to add anybody on WrestleMania because we're at the end. There's no one else to add because it was always someone being added every show, and then to
Right.
end Mania with that moment was just that got it across. And yeah, it's Extreme Rules, but they made another impression, so they're still definitely running strong. Definitely.
Mm,
Well, let's flip a little bit and talk about the storylines then, because the storylines themselves, like the favorite storyline or the ones we've touched on a few things here and there, like my inadvertent storyline of beating people I haven't beaten before, which faltered a bit but didn't matter. It's fine. But I really like, and you're gonna laugh, watching from afar, simply because you keep bringing it up and blaming
Right.
me. That's one of my favorite things because I somehow never expect it when you do it on the Frontline episodes. I don't. You catch me off guard every time.
Right.
So that's just been fun for personal reasons.
Yeah, because we still don't know who it is.
No.
Like,
Nope.
are we gonna find out? I don't know.
We got that date Roman numeral that people deciphered for SummerSlam. So presumably something will be there, but we'll see when that comes. But the favorite story, kind of like that's probably one of my main things, because of how that ended up with me going into things like I faced Nerd before the King of the Ring, I faced GMSG during it, and like I was blaming people through that. So that one did take up me for part of it, but
Yeah.
I also I kind of really like how things got delayed from our canceled shows into ones that happened. and how that kind of came about. Like we had literally loads of stuff planned for like ROH that ended up happening in King of the Ring, right? So the stuff got bumped. I liked how that worked because it had to juggle things. I know again it's not a storyline per se, but that's probably it. Otherwise,
that's cool.
Again, a Broken Nerd isn't really a storyline. He's just having the cinematic match wherever he has to do it. That's been great too. And JJ Rocky's not a storyline. That's just his career.
It's Payne winning the title. Like Payne came out of nowhere too. You know, like he'd been doing work.
Yep. It's all different, unique stuff because you look back on things like how the TTCC was last time, and how different it was this time, with the champs almost running the table. But then avenging it. Like there's little things like that. Probably, honestly, the biggest story would probably be the whole Legends thing with Hawk.
Yeah,
it bled through and is like wrapped up. Like the finale happened with Extreme Rules, and it's kind of like, okay, here we go.
And it was a long story, and it was good. And the bad guys won.
Yep. So that's up there, definitely. The Broken Nerd Terminator stuff is. I mean, that's more of a story. You're right. I think that does stand out. What do you think for any storylines beyond what we talked about, or just to reiterate, that really stood out to you?
Let's see. I can't really think of any right now. I'm trying, but I mean, you got the whole. Yeah, I think we pretty much talked about it, most of them. That I can think of.
Well, let's see here. There's a few other things in here. Like, again, we don't want to make it really like mid-year jobbies, even though we're kind of thinking that. We can mention the factions and teams, but we kind of already did. Even for as far as for champions, every title's changed hands except for yours. So I think you're a shoe-in for the best champion we've had so far for the half year. Because everybody else, I mean, to be fair, Red won it in like March, and then lost it. So there was it was bashing up until that point. The UVs bounced around a bit. The Road Warrior does that as well, and the tag titles have been only really amongst a couple elite teams. Even up through the end of June, because like I said, but you've had it the whole time, so I think you kind of win that one by default, honestly. How about things like promos or theme songs? Anything standing out there? I'll distance myself from the theme songs because I'm always throwing theme songs in there, and they all blend together a bit for me. And I'll be honest, I love the one coming up for SummerSlam. It's really good. But beyond that, I really couldn't say for theme songs because I like all of them generally.
Yeah, I'm the same. We're talking about promo stuff. I really like that Watching From Afar video that was recently put out, but we can't really talk about that because
it's after
that just happened.
Yeah,
damn,
it's July.
That was good.
That one's surreal. Yeah, that honestly, whatever happened in the first half of the year, that one trumped it. We can kind of walk away from that. I'm cool with that. That's nuts. I can tell people that I shot a promo that isn't happening anymore because the match ended up getting changed and rejiggered for stuff, but I had a cool one that's gone forever. It was really neat. It's gone. My favorite promo was when Bomber got me a cake.
The birthday cake? Yeah.
And then,
yeah,
and then just ate it with his fist. That's the promo.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah.
That's
and then
it.
Then you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to make you eat my fist. And then,
that's probably it. He did a cool one too from like his control room, like with the whole Sami Callihan kind of screens background. It looked awesome. It was really good.
Yeah.
I think Bomber had the promos nailed, definitely for that kind of stuff. So yeah.
I remember after Chet turned, he was doing some pretty good like writing promos in there and stuff.
It was really good. It was really good.
The creatures are always in there doing stuff.
Yep.
So Vitamin JD, they're usually in there.
Yeah.
And obviously you got great promos too. I mean, the one about Tigress, and
I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
Oh, that was
Mhm. And I like the one you did on Bomber too. That was good. I'm trying to think. Which one? Did you do one for Rumble?
Did I?
I don't know if did.
I think I just
don't
said I
know if
was
he did.
destined to win. I think it was. Oh yeah, yeah, because
yeah.
I was saying all you got to do is win. It's all on you. Just keep that title from WrestleMania.
Oh, yeah.
and I'll see
Yeah.
you there. That's what it was.
I kept up my end of the bargain.
Ah, yeah.
But yeah. There's been lots of good promos and stuff.
Looking through moment. I think we kind of covered everything. I think.
I think
As far
so.
as for like that kind of stuff. Now I'm gonna go over to the events page, and people are gonna watch me scroll through it, just as I kind of skim what we've had, and if anything stands out. Let's see. Oh yeah, there's when Woody beat me because I put 8 points on Rhino by accident. Yeah, that's.
Oh
Yeah.
man, I remember that. Oh, you were so mad.
I was the
you would've
maddest
won.
I've ever been, and that extended my losing streak. Is what that did too.
Yo.
That was the worst part of that. But then I beat him 1-on-1, and all was good. It was 27 points for me too. My lucky number. Everything was better. Hey, I forgot that you went to a no contest with Broken Nerd.
Yeah, we'll have to do that again down the line. One
That
of
was
these
the
days.
main event for Worlds Collide. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you retained over Jut Jut. Then the TTCC happened. I got eliminated. Let's move on. Portland was ridiculous because that's where the creatures kept going. They beat Team No Chance and continued on their ways.
Yep.
You beat Jut Jut again, I believe, because it was real close and that was your rematch. Just let's run it back. It was non-title that time. And then you retained over 3J.
Oh, that's one of the most scared times I've ever had in a show because it was a Saudi show, and I was like, oh, something's gonna happen.
Yeah, that was messed up, that one. But it was my birthday, and I won. It was great. And then, oh, look, Revolution, the must-see good guys beat the Simple Creatures. Look at you go. 2-point win.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a close match. Oh, thanks to Hangman Page and Kenny Omega.
That was a rare win for the Outsiders because we beat the Siblings of Anarchy because we had a no-show of our normal team. Matt and Rab were out, so we beat them up and we moved on from there. Then there's the Chamber, of course. Red won the title in that, and HMF won the Tag Team Classic. You had a non-title match with LJ, and you won by 2 points, so good on you there.
Yeah.
And then things went nuts, and we had no shows for like a month and a half, and then WrestleMania came.
Yeah.
And you retained over Tino, and I beat Bomber in that death match. But also Bastion with the sudden death with Jut Jut, because that was an Iron Man match, and that was ridiculous points, because, that's how that goes. That was insane. JD won the Road Warrior ladder match to keep the title. Soundstage in a Cage happened there as well, and of course Ash and Dark Rider, LND and TNC. Too many letters.
Yeah, didn't JD face like 10 people in that match?
Captain Charisma, JJ, Rocky, Payne, Hawk, and Randy the Fiend Orton.
Oh yeah. That's kind of a big moment too. I mean, he beat 7 people.
Well, because so there was supposed to be at Elimination Chamber. It was JD versus Randy the Fiend Orton for the title, and it went to a no contest. And we had a contenders match with Hawk, Payne, Green Machine. Sorry, the winners are in. So Hawk and Payne versus Green Machine and Cam. And Hawk and Payne won. So Hawk would get one shot, Payne would get the other. It'd be Supercard and Takeover. And then, we need to rematch JD and Randy, but then none of those shows happened. So, all right, JD, you get JJ, Payne, Hawk, and Randy in one match. Oh, and plus the WrestleMania match we planned of a 6-man for Captain Charisma to win to get into. It was just nuts. So that's some of my favorite stuff, though. I love the chaos of that. I know the writing side was not fun, but
that was one of the matches I forgot. That was good.
Oh, look at that Peanut Memorial Battle Royal. BeerMeJesus beat 19 other superstars. Hey, what shirt did you get for that anyway?
I got a Tessa Blanchard shirt. I actually got 2.
Oh, that's right,
yeah. But instead of 1, I got 2. I told Bob, I was like, hey, man, just send me 2. He's like, I don't know. I was like, well, I got 2. He's like, oh, that's good. I was like, all right.
And Red beat Jonathan C.T. Martin. False Count Anywhere death match.
Yeah.
To retain the top block.
He can never challenge for it again.
Nope. And he's one of the kind of better champions that belt's ever had. So that's a thing. That's a thing we did. Then we got Money in the Bank. Obviously, Orstella won that one. Captain Charisma avenged and took out JD. We had the King of the Ring itself, where Bomber beat Jut. But it was a little different. It wasn't really like the blow-off that's about to come
Right.
now. But Tigress beat you.
Yeah. Yeah, that happened.
One of the few losses you've had all year. The only one, I think, during that entire period. Yeah, you did not lose otherwise, I don't think. GMSG beat Carlito. Ooh, I didn't realize that. Yeah. Tino beat CT. Bastion beat Hawk. Red beat Ash. 3J and Wookie went to no contest, so both advanced. And I beat Cam. And that was our first round of the King of the Ring. We get the Double or Nothing, which was the first non-WWE show literally since... What, Homecoming? Was it Hard to Kill in January? Did they... Yeah, because we lost...
Revolution.
Revolution, sorry, forgive me, yeah. Because we lost ROH in March and April, so...
Yep.
Yeah, so Double or Nothing happened, and Deathmatch, Jace versus Hawk. Cap retained the title. You beat CT, non-title. I beat Nerd, starting my run. Excuse me. Or continuing it a bit, but yeah. JG beat JD in a submission match. That was a big one.
Oh, yeah, that was a good match.
A lot of good matches here. Alaska Brown beat Bomber in a hardcore match, and that fallout is still happening now, too. That's what I mean about how a match, you never know what can happen, ends up happening later. This is a house show, but then again, you can seed stuff in for later. It's interesting, so... and then In Your House, which was a crazy show, and you were worried for your title. Broken Nerd won Hardcore Nightmare at the Museum for the Road Warrior title over Hero. Cap retained again, and then Bomber, GMSG, Bastion, and Red all advanced in the tournament, and you you defeated Dark Rider. It was not a title match. And then we come up with the greatest wrestling match ever, Backlash. Where you retained over JJ in a nail-biter, 30-28.
God, yeah, that was scary.
The Creatures beat LND, and then GMSG and Bastion both advanced to the final, which ends the month for us. Nothing happened after that of note. Nope, that was in July. LJ took the Road Warrior title back, and Payne won the #1 contendership for the Top Lock title. I wonder what happened with that. Ash beat Jace, and I went to a no contest with Spring Tigress. Because, of course, we did. One of my very few of those. Nerd and Luke went and beat CM, Carlito, and Hero. And Renaissance was strong. Forever Killin' was strong. The Enigmas were strong. A lot of stuff coming up. Really making some moments. And yeah, here's July. That doesn't count for this. Ignore that. So that's where it ends, with the greatest month ever of June, I guess is how we have to call that. So, So anything else really spring to mind, reminding you of things during all that? Anything kind of jog your memory? I think we kind of talked about it as we happened, or as we mentioned it, but...
Yeah, I mean, that ladder match with JD, the submission match with JD and JJ, that feud was, like, kind of going back and forth for a while. I like that.
I think JD, Loki, had kind of a sleeper year. When you really look back on it, it's like, man, he's been in a lot of cool moments like that, hasn't he? But no surprise, former world champion. He and I had a fun feud at the end of the last year.
I feel like that's the thing with No Chance. They're always under the radar.
It's kind of,
Like, you know,
I mean, not even meaning to be a pun. They really are. They're always there, always a threat. I said it, and I stand by it, but I felt Vitamin Yes was low-key. I don't know if I'm saying low-key now. But he was the dark horse of the Money in the Bank. I thought, and I still stand by this, he is the biggest threat with a Money in the Bank briefcase. I think more so than anybody else in that match. He would have been the one to worry about the most. Yeah, he's had some losses, but...
If he would have won, all of No Chance would have won Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
Like, the tag team and JD won it. If he would have been the last one.
Oh, remember how the Creatures almost clean swept? Could you imagine if JJ beat you? How much gold the Creatures would have had? Because LJ was in there and the tag champs.
Right. I kind of did the League a favor, because I remember being in voice and everybody's like, man, you got to beat JJ. They're going to sweep. And I was like, well, I hope.
Yeah. There was a lot of almost moments. But like stuff like that, when you're that close to doing something no one else has done, and no one else has come that close, yeah, you're kind of think, like, when you talk stable of the year and stuff like that, oh, yeah, you know what? Yeah, that's already up there. There's no way Infinity belongs on that, even though Red and I technically had 2 titles for an hour together. Red lost it afterwards, but there's no way we're in that discussion. Even if we go on a tear and win all the gold at the latter half of the year, compared to what's already happened, I think that even that's a stretch. Like, that'll be like, which one is it? It will not be a runaway. That's how dominant the creatures have been, I feel.
Well, I've noticed with stables, usually, like, for stables of the year, they'll go, like, the whole year.
Yeah.
Just like Solution went stable of the year back-to-back years, and
Yep.
then I think UVC won it the next year? Did they
No,
win it next year?
UVC, it was TNC.
It was TNC,
By
yeah.
a
Yep,
point. And if I'm correct, it was my vote. Because I was like, no, I think it's TNC. And when I really look at it, I kind of regret, because I'm like, you know what, I probably should have voted UVC. But, I mean, for me, it was a toss-up. And I really felt from
it really was.
From what we saw with TNC, I really felt like they accomplished it, because I think it was the overachieving is what did it. Like, everything UVC did, yeah, it was impressive and awesome. But you kind of expected it at the same time, and you didn't expect it from TNC, and the fact that they did it was more impressive to me. That's not really fair to look at it when it's that way. It's like, oh, you're supposed to win it. I really probably should have went with UVC because they were a better unit altogether. But still, like I said, it's either or. But that's the kind of stuff that happens, and that's part of why we wanted this to help jog everybody's memory when you're making those votes at the end of the year. So keep this in mind for like Superstar of the Year and Rookie of the Year.
I mean, remember to vote at the end of the year.
And vote at the end of the year.
Counts.
Yes. Literally, some were by one vote. So, I mean, if we're talking like Superstar of the Year, I mean, you're the world champion the whole damn time. I'm thinking you right now. Rookie is definitely JJ. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care if he loses the rest of the year. It's still JJ. That's my vote.
Yeah, I'd say him or Payne, right? Is Payne new?
I want to say Payne started before.
Okay.
I believe he did.
Can't remember.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did.
How far back he's done. Because he's been on a roll lately. So
yeah, I'm on the site. I'm on the wrong site. Payne. I can find it real quick. Was he here? No. Okay, it will not be real quick, so I'm not going to do it. But yeah, Payne. I do believe he came in at the tail end of last year. I do believe. If not, he's definitely up there too. If he makes a run with that top lock title, yeah, he could challenge JJ, because as dominant as JJ's been, he doesn't have that gold, right? That's a deal breaker there.
Doesn't JJ get a future world title shot, or is that?
No, Alaska has to beat him to get a Road Warrior shot. JJ's just out there wrecking fools and probably going to walk into one again anyway. Or UV, which is great for me. That's awesome news, and I'm excited by that. I'm lying. As far as for things like promo, I know I kind of ran away with it 2 years ago, and I won, I think, by a point last year. I don't think I've got it. My vote's for Bomber, for the promos, for that kind of stuff. But
I don't even know who I voted for last year for promo. It was between you and Lee. I think I voted for Lee.
You did. Actually, so did I.
Did I? Yeah.
And Lee's back. He's back with promos, so we'll see what happens there. But well, speaking of back, let's look forward. What do you think?
All right.
Because I got some match announcements to make.
Ooh.
And we can start with that one. Because, yes, the Midnight Rider is back. And this match with the Green Machine that both have wanted is going to happen at SummerSlam. One-on-one. Now, we've kind of prepped and talked about that match before. With who could win, whatever. I really think that Green is going to have some problems. Because a motivated Lee is the most dangerous kind, I think.
It's true.
Not to say he's not motivated. I mean, when he's not motivated, he's not there. That's what I mean. Like, he's back. Uh-oh.
Like, when he came back as the Midnight Rider, like, his, like, first, like, I think he won, like, his first 5 or 6.
He did.
You know? So, like, he can definitely wreak some havoc.
Yeah. I'll mention. Let's finish off SummerSlam, because that's the distant future. Let's talk about those ones. We got Green and the Midnight Rider. We got one-on-one Hawk versus Hero Shin Moses.
Oh, I'm down with that.
So we got some some faction warfare, even though it might not be the one he was originally part of.
Right, some AOA and some Renaissance.
It's interesting to see what happens here, because after that play that the Renaissance made, they're kind of making some noise, and Hawk is the representative going out there. It's not a bad representative. Hawk is great, so yeah, definitely a big threat for Hero there, and a big test for Hawk, I think.
Yeah.
The third and final match that we will announce for SummerSlam is Mr. Money in the Bank, or Stella, facing the Terminator, Broken Nerd.
Oh.
Which I thought you'd be interested in.
It's a good match.
Yeah.
It's a good match. As long as Stella's not in the same match as me, it's all good.
Well, funny you say that.
Mm-hmm.
Because at NXT, you, BeerMe, will be in a non-title match with Orstella's opponent 1 day prior, Broken Nerd. You wanted to run it back, you're going to run it back.
With a Terminator.
With a Terminator a day before SummerSlam, when you're defending a world title against somebody that I don't know. According to my list, I don't have that name yet.
All right.
So you face a Terminator the day before, and then he goes on to face Mr. Money in the Bank.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully, wear him down and take him out so he doesn't cash in.
Yeah, that's true. I'm hoping for that.
But, yeah, you get to run it back with Nerd. How about that? After he's looking for vengeance after I beat him.
I know, and I'm looking for vengeance because I just lost. So it's like it's gonna be a battle.
That's two of the biggest faces we have.
Yeah.
No joke. That's a huge match for NXT. That's a fun match.
Yeah, that's gonna be dope.
Speaking of two of the biggest faces, King of the Ring finalists Bastion and the GMSG will be in action at NXT TakeOver 30 2020. We're calling it together against Hiroshin Moses and the Alpha Dog of the Renaissance.
Wait. So, the King of the Ring opponents are going to tag team together.
Yes, the day before they go into the King of the Ring final.
Wow, that's that's something. That's good. That's good stuff right there.
That's good.
Oh,
I love that kind of stuff. That's just like, yes, yeah. That's some kind of matches I wanted to maybe get. We just didn't have enough shows where it's like King of the Ring opponents or like opposite brackets against each other, which would have been fun because that would have meant Red against me because we were on the other side of the bracket. But Bastion and the GMSG. We'll have to see whatever ridiculous team name GMSG comes up with for that one. I hope it's great. Versus Renaissance, who, I mean, that's a vested interest after that attack. They're basically the reason, kayfabe, that the sudden death overtime was scrapped and we didn't have a winner that night. And we're going on to SummerSlam. So they get vengeance the day before they get to finish their own business. But yeah, so there's the question. How the heck are Bastion and the GMSG going to get along in a tag match against Renaissance? It's not like they can take it easy. It's the Renaissance. That's a problem.
Yeah, they got like 4 guys. 4-on-2.
Yeah.
Who knows? Oh, that's good though. That's good stuff.
I like that match a lot. That's a fun one. And rounding out NXT, we've got Bomber facing the Urban Legend 1-on-1.
Oh.
So, interesting match.
Oh my God! It's freaking Ambrose versus MJF or Moxley. Jesus.
Is it really? It is, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, that wasn't even planned. No, that's
good stuff.
Oh God. That's as. Okay, if it was planned, I wasn't aware of that because that's funny. That's awesome. But that's literally the day before Bomber goes home and fights Jut in his home. As one does.
Yeah, right.
It's no. But yeah, that rounds out the matches I have. I don't have anything beyond that. So, I mean, the one that stands out the most to me is that tag match, Bastion and GMSG together. Yeah, you and Nerd's awesome, but King of the Ring finalists teaming up the day before is pretty great. I do love that a lot.
Yeah.
That's
I don't know how that came about, but that's good stuff. That's good stuff right there. That's good booking. It's good booking. I like it.
well. I honestly think it was just a case of like, I don't know, put them together, like get some vengeance, because presumably they want vengeance, and when's that going to happen? I mean, we're looking at All Out after that, and then there might be Payback. Yes, people. There's a rumor that after SummerSlam, which is August
A week
23rd,
after.
the rumor is that there's All Out on September 5th, but the rumor has Payback on August 30th. That's not
And if
official
that's
yet.
the case, SummerSlam is going to be unpredictable.
Keep that in mind, everybody.
Yes, I'm defending my title.
Yeah, like it's called Payback, so it's literally going to be bouncing out of it because there's only going to be Raw and SmackDown, which will recap and lead into Payback. I don't know what to make of that, so keep that in mind, everybody, when you make your predictions on JobberRadio.com, because what the hell is gonna? So. But that didn't even have that one in mind. So All Out, Clash of Champions, would that be when they got vengeance? Well, I mean, that's championship opportunities presumably, so that wouldn't work. So their payback would not come until like Hell in a Cell in October? Nah, this makes sense. Do the tag match now. Have them face Renaissance to get a little modicum of revenge. So I like it, even though they got a team together for it. But they're good guys. It's not like they hate each other.
Let's see.
I mean, it's professional competition, so they'll get along. But how well will they actually work together? Because they've never teamed. I think, as far as I know,
I think they'll be all right. I think so.
I think it'll work. I mean, it's against Hero and Alpha Dog. Alpha Dog is a bit rough on that. That might be a problem for that side. Renaissance is strong, but Alpha Dog. He did get pile driven through the floor in the house.
Yeah,
I mean, remains to be seen.
Well, who knows?
So I think we'll leave it at that. I think that's a good recap. It did go a bit long. Let's be honest here. We just hit the 57-minute mark of my recording, so I think we're good. I think we can call it there. We did ramble through. Anybody that did listen in, thank you again for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Thanks for any feedback. Please give us feedback. Things that we missed, things we forgot about, things we were wrong about. Armchair quarterback this. Let us know. And things that you like, things you agreed with, things that really stand out. It's fun. Let's have fun with this, and let's ride it through. JobberRadio.com is where you find all of this fun stuff. The JRPL official Twitter and over on the YouTube channel. Again, SummerSlam and TakeOver are the 22nd and 23rd of August. So you don't have to put your predictions in till then. But again, keep in mind there's suddenly going to be Payback and then All Out. So be wary of that when it happens. You'll want to be up to speed on things. And for that, keep watching Frontline every week. Keep tuning in. Check out the Discord. All that fun stuff. I've rambled on long enough. BeerMe, do you have anything else to say to close us out here?
Nope. Same price, same time next week. Take good care.
Pretty much, yeah. Next week we're going to be looking at probably more for TakeOver to really flesh that one out. We don't really have much of a format planned, but that's sometimes how this goes. With just it's a long stretch between shows, but maybe we'll talk about things we forgot and stuff like that, and just work on the shows. And maybe it's only 10 minutes and 15 minutes, which is better after an hour. Maybe that's what we'll do for everybody, and just give them a quick one. That might be good, I think. What do you think?
Yep.
See? Quick answer. There we go. So thanks, everybody. For the champ, this is the other champ. Have a good week.